Thank you for joining me today at the Knight Media Forum. Today I have President and CEO of the New York Public Library. So this is also a conversation not just about media, but about communities. How essential are libraries to communities?
So in New York and in everywhere else in America, the public library is the civic space. It's the third space other than home and work where everyone comes, from the poorest to the richest, from illiterate to Nobel laureates. We have all of it. And that's amazing. In New York City alone, we get close to 40 million physical visits a year, which is more than all the museums and all the sporting teams combined.
Now, is it something that has changed over time, especially considering how much more books are digitized?
Sure.
And then people could say, well, even if I wanted to check it out, even if I didn't want to buy a book online, I could check it out virtually, and it sort of goes back, and I'm never going to be late with my books again.
So we are happy to give you books however you want them.
Yeah.
So we have an app. You can download it right now. Simply E, capital at the end. And we're giving that to every library in America. We have about 100,000 books on it right now. 2 clicks and you're reading whatever you want. My job, our job, is to do what Google wanted to do, which is to get every book ever written online for free for anyone in the world. Not just in New York, but in Bangladesh or Akron.
Right.
And we're actually on the march towards that.
So how does
But
that...
in the meantime, people are physically coming in more than ever because people don't want to work home alone, and they want the space, they want the company, they want the inspiration. That the Rose Main Reading Room in New York is
It's a beautiful place.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And we're spending $1 billion to try to make every branch in every neighborhood fantastic.
Yeah.
And people need help. They need advice from great librarians. They need our collections. Believe it or not, in New York City, maybe a quarter of the population doesn't have broadband at home, so they depend on us simply to get online.
Yeah.
Things you and I take for granted.
Now, this is New York City. This is also a bastion of progressivism, that they can invest $1 billion in trying to improve libraries in all these places. What about the rest of the country? Where is the standing of libraries, and have people taken the opportunity to say that these are community centers, that these are spaces we should reinvest in?
Look, I think the reality is libraries are sort of part of the furniture. People sort of take them for granted. They just assume them. Everyone knows in their heart they are the key space for civic getting together at a moment in American history where we're not getting together very much.
Right.
But it is true that not every city is as progressive. Not every city is as forward-thinking about investing in libraries because they're taken for granted.
Yeah.
Our job is to make sure, that we remember how essential they are.
So best case scenario, 5 years out, what does a library look like to you?
So it'll still be core civic space. It'll be better space because we're investing in that. It will have great collections. But if the library doesn't ensure that every book is available to you online, if that's how you prefer to read it, no one else will do that, right? Publishers, authors, no one else has the same interest that we do in access to that. The other big difference that's happening in libraries now is we've doubled our square footage in terms of usable space by restoring space. And we've created at the New York Public Library about 2 million visits a year into education programs. So the library that used to be purely passive, come, use, sit, now we have 1 million visits to our pre-K programs to help literacy, after-school programs. We never had that before. We're the biggest provider of English language instruction in New York, as well as citizenship classes. It's a city of immigrants. It's a country of immigrants.
Next to the school district, you mean?
After the school district, right? And then we're also the biggest free provider. Everything we do is free. Free provider of computer skills. So we're about 150,000 visits to everything from how do I turn it on to how do I code.
Wow.
So the library is turning from passive to passive as well as proactive education learning space.
So how do you work out the economics of giving away books for free? I mean, how does a publisher, an author, online retailers, how do they all feel about it, and how does it work?
We believe that people who write, who are creators, should be compensated for that. Otherwise, we will not have the creativity we want. So our commitment is we will pay rights holders what we need to pay in order to share their work more broadly. Lots of authors, I am one of them, have books that nobody is really reading anymore. And the secret there is the library is the only place where those books can come back to life, where we can present them to the public and try to create demand. And that shouldn't cost us anything when there's no demand. But when demand picks up, which we want, everybody wants, then we'll start paying. So we make deals with authors, publishers, the Authors Guild. I mean, we're working with everyone on this front.
And you mentioned Google and their efforts a while back. Are you working with them or other platforms? I mean, where are we in the digitization? Because there's obviously new books coming out every day.
Right. So Google digitized about 25 to 30 million books. We think that's about a third of all the books ever.
Wow.
The Supreme Court said you can show 2 sentences, not more, which is sort of tells you everything you need to know about how deep we've gotten here. We think the library can actually unleash those scans by making deals with authors and publishers so that Google can show more. But more importantly, the world knowledge is locked in 100 million books that have ever been written. And the library's job is to make that available to anyone. I mean, we're so distracted by Facebook. We're so distracted by NVIDIA's comparisons, all the things our kids are doing online. Imagine a world in which the quality information of the human race is available to anyone for free instantly.
When you also mentioned something about how divided and polarized we are, and that there are fewer spaces where people can actually come together. In the city, is there programming that you can figure out to say, okay, well, let's spark some uncomfortable conversations that might be enlightening?
So that I have a colleague here at this conference from the MIT Media Lab. We're trying to figure out how to use technology to connect libraries in red states and blue states so that we can have conversations across our differences. But the library is committed to that fundamentally. I mean, even in New York, there are differences of views in Staten Island than in Harlem. So how do we get people to talk to each other? And the library is a safe space to do that. One of the reasons I'm here today is I co-chaired the Knight Commission on Democracy, Media, and Trust. We're in trouble, right? You and I grew up assuming that America would always be a democracy. I don't think we can assume that anymore. I think it's under threat in a way I never thought I would see in my lifetime or worry about for my kids.
And as your report pointed out, I mean, the trust in institutions, including the press, is stunningly low and getting lower.
Libraries are way up there, so that's good. Everything is under threat at this point. So we have to rethink. The problem with an established democracy is you start to assume that that's all it can be and it will always be. But look at history. Look at Rome. It doesn't last if you don't keep it. Ben Franklin said, it's a republic if you can keep it. I think we're in that moment at this point.
What was the thing out of the report? I mean, there's a very long report that people can read online, but what was the thing that jumped out at you when you saw it first?
Well, first, 27 people across varying differences agreeing on a set of recommendations. That's
that in itself,
a good example there. Look, we talk about the need for the local press to exist because it's going out of business. So we've helped to inspire the Knight Foundation to spend $300 million in this arena. So that's good. We need a press that's transparent. We need a press that is clear about the difference between opinion and fact. All that is happening. We understand in the technology business that the platforms need to rethink in a very fundamental way. And we've said they need to think of themselves as fiduciaries, the way your accountant thinks of you.
Yeah.
They have a responsibility to society that they are not meeting. And we've said that needs to be front and center, even though profit, I understand, is a great motivator. We need more than that. We need we need portability. So if you're on Facebook because it's a natural monopoly, because it has everyone's network, but it's your network, your information, you should be able to take that with you. And then for citizens, we've said people need to understand civics, so we're going to start teaching civics in libraries. But we also we want every kid to be doing public service at some point in their time. But it's time to rethink. We can't take any of this for granted anymore, Hari.
All right. Important idea to end on. Thank